Let's go. Yeah. For those of you that want to know what we're all about, it's like this, y'all. This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name.
Hello and welcome to another episode here at West Coast Dogman Project. I'm your host, Shane Michael Crisp, and I'm stoked to get back behind the mic and interview Dogman eyewitnesses. As most of you know, I took a 3-month hiatus due to the fact that my stepson being in football and the commitment we take as a family to do this sport. It starts from March and ends in November. It's a 7-8 month commitment from practice to football games to meetings, scrimmages, you name it. But I had to shelve a lot of my boots on the ground research and interviews for that time in order to do that for him. And you know, who wouldn't do that? Dogman's not going anywhere. So in other news about myself, real quick, I recently became the Region 1 Director for the North American Dogman Project after Dev Rooney stepped down and nominated me. So it's been a huge honor, and I'm extremely stoked to take on that role and try to do my best and not, represent Jody Cook and the North American Dogman Project. I recently started 11 state chapters for the 11 states in the West under my jurisdiction. I'm currently talking to 5 to 6 members that are not members, but people that are interested in joining as field investigators, and I'm still trying to appoint state representatives and build teams in each of the 11 states. So when we do get a dogman encounter, we can, go out and research the area. But enough of me. I'm extremely stoked tonight for tonight's interview with Bryan Bowden. So let's bring him on. Hey, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on? How are you?
No, man, it's a true honor. Thank you for taking time out of your day to do this.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure, and congratulations on the director position.
Thank you.
I always like to say to anybody who wants to get into a director position, no matter if it's state director or anything like that, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, that's one of the things I figure, being I'm the young guy on the team, I'm the rookie, and Nick Valente told me the other day, he's like, you're the youngest state director in North American Dogman Project history. I'm like, whoa, wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, when it gets to something like cryptids or Bigfoot or whatever, I don't think it's the age that matters. It's the heart and soul behind what you're doing and what you're trying to do with the information. Mm-hmm. So it's good. It matters legally. So as long as you're over 21.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's just, people that have the heart and soul to go out there and do these things and know how to corral people and bring them together. But let everybody, work together as a unit, not just like, I'm the director, I'll do whatever the hell I want.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a tough position, and it depends. Your state's huge and the whole region's pretty huge. So
yeah, we got 11 states all the way from Montana down to Colorado, all the way out to Hawaii, up to Alaska. So, I from with the NADP website, we don't have any sightings in Hawaii, but it'd be crazy to see a werewolf or a dogman on your vacation.
Yeah, that's a couple of spots that I would not expect to see one, but they have their own other cryptids or anomalies that are there.
They do.
Yeah, not like a dogman though.
They got the little people. I've done a little bit of research on the state of Hawaii, and theirs is the little people, and that's kind of intriguing, almost like the Pukwudgies,
Yeah. I went to Hawaii. I loved the islands. Went to Hawaii, Maui, and Oahu. And
oh wow, okay.
It's a long trip going from the East Coast out there, like 13 hours.
Yeah,
I don't like to fly in general, but what a fantastic place. But I got to talk to a lot of the locals that are there because they do a lot of the tours, and everybody's looking for the little bit of a tip, but I always talk to people on a human level, not like I just happen to save what I save to go on this honeymoon vacation. I'm a working class Joe myself, so
yeah,
and you just get some real good information when you come at it at the right angle.
You do, you really do. And I want to give a special shout out to Al Santoriga. Love the shirt. That is extremely awesome.
I'm gonna get crapped on from this, and then I just shared the promo about
Uh-huh.
tonight, and I said, come join me, ask questions, and remember to stay for the win a date with Al Santoriga sweepstakes.
His wife's gonna kill you.
Yeah. She's gonna kill me, but whatever.
Oh man. Well, besides, before we jump into the interview, I
Sure.
wanted to thank you for coming on to the show. And before, we're not just going to talk Dogman tonight. We're going to talk cryptids, paranormal, current events that are going on that the media is not talking about. And Bryan is the one guest. And congratulations last night. That was a great interview
Oh,
with you and Tom going on the Three Beards podcast. That was extremely awesome.
yeah, it was a fun. Normally on Three Beards, great guys by the way. If you want to check out another podcast, I'm all about sharing the love. Really
Yes.
great podcast there. But normally we start getting a little bit too controversial for social media, whatever it is. Now you
Yeah.
can't. Everybody has got all rigid, but normally like Tom will get zapped, then I'll get zapped, we'll get booted.
It was crazy when Tom did the whole slice and he froze just like this. I was like, oh man.
And they froze. It was like a Naked Gun episode. Like,
Yes, exactly. I mean, Tom was spitting true facts and he's very knowledgeable. But when he stopped like this, I was like, wait, is Tom just posing? But
They
no,
got
Tom was
him.
just like this. They got him. They zapped him. But yeah, no.
But I love that stuff. I mean, that's why when I do my show, when I do other people's shows, I try to be very selective about certain ways I have to respond, given current events of the last couple of years, because it does have an effect on what we're going to do in the field and whatever. But you don't want to get anybody banned for no reason. It's like people are just too quick to delete them, So.
Oh, it's 2022. Everyone's trying to erase somebody, but I believe with us being paranormal, cryptid investigators, we're just trying to expand our, the awareness of these things. Whether it's the Sasquatch, the Dogmen, the UFOs. I mean, it's the local media just thinks that we just all wear tin foil, but it's not the case. They're just not telling us the truth, but these sightings are increasing.
Right. I mean, if you get into let's get into the granddaddy of them all, Bigfoot, right?
Okay.
Sasquatch, Bigfoot, whatever you want to call it. I usually call him Bigfoot. Although the organization that Al and I have is New York State Sasquatch organization, but I prefer Bigfoot. I've always had, I always loved it.
Yeah.
With this creature and with the other cryptids that you have the dog man, you have the goat guy, the goat man, ram, you have like the creature from Black Lagoon, basically there's a lizard man or whatever. The problem you get into, and the reason why a lot of people don't want to talk about it is if they have to acknowledge that there's some kind of cryptid there or whatever, then you need to do a study and you need to put up protection. So case in point, a lot of this stuff happens around logging, right? So if you have a known Bigfoot in the area or a cryptid, depending what it is, if it's more docile, it's a lot better for everybody. If you start talking about it and saying, yeah, there's Bigfoot there, then someone's going to say, well, how come we're not closing the area off and doing a study? That eats into the economy. It eats into the economy of I mean, you want to go see some of these creatures, go to a lot of national parks. They're there.
Exactly.
Right. And some of them are really nice or decent, and some of them are not. So when people start going missing, and there's a whole variable. So there goes the revenue. And if you talk about it, you're really kind of hurting the revenue end of it. But these things are such apex predators, all of them.
Yes.
That you really need to know about what you're walking into when you go into look a buffalo, and look, there's a giant monkey. It's like, well, there's a werewolf over there.
You're right. It's like why with Theodore Roosevelt, protected when he became president, one of the first things he signed was to protect all the national parks, and there's millions of acres because of his incident with the Bowman incident, I want to say. Dave Roberts talks about it quite a bit, and do you know a little bit about that?
Yeah, he's an avid hunter, and he likes to go out there. But he came across basically, it's a Bigfoot. for the most part, and it was kind of unnerving for him to be in that. And this is Teddy Roosevelt. This guy was like,
before he's president, obviously, right?
yeah, but it doesn't. Teddy was nuts, and he was a very, he didn't look like much, but he had balls of steel, and he'd go in and he'd kick ass, take names. And when you get somebody like that, and you have an interaction, because he's known, I mean, all throughout the world. He's a travel hunter. I mean, lions, bears. I don't even know. I think he may have had polar bear too, if I'm correct. I mean, but when you get to something like, it kind of looks like a human, but with a lot of hair on it, it really does freak you out. That's why a lot of people who encounter a Bigfoot in the woods, hunters and stuff, they have them dead to rights. And it's kind of hard. It's like, it looks like a human being with extra hair. You got to really think about what you're doing. Do I take this out? Do I not? And I think most people, the humanity side of them, rises up and like, I can't shoot another human being, even if this is just a hairy person.
Exactly.
Or a wild man, as they normally would call them.
Yes, the wild man, or the Chiatonka from what the Lakota call them. Or I think is that Cherokee, I believe. It's one of the two tribes that call them the Chiatonka.
Chiatonka, I believe, is Cherokee.
Is it Cherokee? Okay.
I think it's Cherokee. Hold on. I studied freaking indigenous people too.
See, that's my interest right now.
Well, there's some great reads about it. I took a couple of classes I almost semi-majored in it, and when I went to UMass, and it just, you got to stop every once in a while in school, and you're like, yeah, this is really cool and fascinating, but I need to make money to live. I agree. I want to get married, eventually have kids or dogs or whatever. I got to be able to take care of myself. And when you're, I was going for a couple different things. I loved astronomy and physics, and I was thinking about being an astrophysicist.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Or as Al likes to call me, that's this guy right there, an asshole physicist.
Love you, Al.
Yeah, but the whole thing is, it's like, okay, great. So what would I be doing? I'd either be working for the government someplace and not get paid very well, and everything be compartmentalized, and it'd be very frustrating. Or I'd work at a university, and the university level, maybe you max out at $100,000. There's no money to be made in it. And I'm sorry, it's not about money. It's just about living, and you need money to live. So
I agree.
So I sidebarred that, and I went to business, which is what everybody does.
Which you almost have to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and see, this is the thing, when I started learning physics at the beginning of what you would now call string theory and quantum mechanics. Okay. And it was just really starting. Everybody was having their theories and whatever. And when we go on investigation, now, Al and I investigate together a lot. Even though I moved down here, I still will be back up in that neck of the woods come around May.
Oh, okay. So you plan on going back to New York, right?
Yes. So I'll be going back to New York, and I'm going to do everything I can to get him down here, because there's a lot of locations. This is where he had his first Bigfoot encounter with the skunk ape when he was younger.
I don't know if we talked about that in our previous interview.
Well, you bring them back, because it's a great story, but it happened from here where I am right now, southeastern Florida, and in a town called Davie.
Davie,
where his sister was. And he was a young kid, and he was as close to Bigfoot as a car length, basically.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a fantastic story, and if X-Files Al or the Squatch Father or whatever the hell they call him these days,
he's the Squatch Father in our group text.
I just call him brother.
Brother, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good story, but part of what we do when we go investigate is we're old school, new school, always. Yeah, I do a lot of the technology stuff, but Al and I always like that old school. So we'll do the digital cameras, and then we try to do like non-digital stuff, because, and we'll get into it, I think these creatures have an ability to manipulate the electromagnetic field. And that's why you get a lot of these blob squatches. They can
Yes.
drain batteries. They can manipulate the visual spectrum. And it's an innate and built ability to do so. And this is a debate that's going on right now for years with people. No, it's flesh and blood. No, it's an alien. No, it's UFO pets. No.
That's what my wife calls them. She's like, it's an alien, dog.
Well, yeah, it's like that's what everybody says. It's like, is that, because people have seen them with aliens,
Yes.
with other coming out of craft,
Yes.
UFOs. And what you don't understand is aliens or these extraterrestrials, be they extra or ultra or interdimensionals, they're all over in the earth, outside in the atmosphere,
Metaphysical?
outside of space, metaphysical.
Yeah.
There's a variety that have been here.
Mhm.
They are in relationship to the ET, whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
They're not here to save our planet. I don't care a damn who's telling you this.
Mhm.
I don't believe in a galactic federation. I have no evidence to prove it. They are, I do have a lot of interviews, and I'm really connected to a lot of solid individuals who've had multiple abductions and experiences that started from younger. And now what happens is they have these experiences, but they are remembering everything that's going on because it's purposeful. They can handle it. And these alien races are here because they've killed off their planet. Their planet's done. So they are the last of the species. And what they're trying to do is they use us humans and our DNA because it's a perfect fit. It's like a base that they need to create these other and aliens from. And that's where the hybridization comes in. So when they're going through, let's say, interdimensionally, or they go through a wormhole or portals or whatever you want to call it, which some of them do. Some of them have craft. Some of them can actually do it themselves as beings. There's probably over 300 plus different type of races.
Oh, wow.
A couple that look like an Alba-witch,
Mhm.
a couple that look like Bigfoot themselves, but they're not. There is a difference between them. They look a little bit more like Chewbacca-ish, but not as like grand or tall, as you're seeing.
Yeah.
But they're not Bigfoot, or Sasquatch. And when they see Sasquatch able to do what they do, they abduct them too. And they're doing tests on them as well, because that's what you do as scientists. You're like, oh, well, let's take a couple of those too. Let's see what they have going on.
Yeah.
So that's why you're seeing the relationship. Like a lot of times when you see these beings coming out of craft, you're getting something that's been released back into the wild that aliens have abducted. And I mean, I've had, I talked about 3 different people around North America, including in Canada, who have seen these creatures literally like dropping off a Bigfoot. Like, and the Bigfoot just like walking away for whatever reason, but definitely have been abducted. It's not something that they I don't think the Sasquatch wanted to happen, but they're just going to get taken.
Now, I was going to ask you, what do you think about the whole Bray Road thing and the anomalies? I was talking to Nick Valente the other night. I did an interview with him, and he said that he did a study that 93% of Bigfoot and Dogman sightings, there's been a light, an orb, or a UFO like sighting. Do you believe that? Is that interdimensionally?
So I'm going to explain it to you. This is how, when I first started in this entire field, before I even met Al, I was thoroughly convinced, given my science background and history, that I felt that Bigfoot was part of Gigantopithecus and part of the Great Ape series, and you have like a missing link type of thing here. Flesh and blood, that's it, right?
Yeah.
So back in 2015, we did a day-night investigation, Halloween, and we went to a specific lake. I don't know what Al's told you, but I'm going to tell you from my perspective of it. And this is upstate New York. I'm not going to give you the name of the lake or the location. It's one of our grounds, and we've been burnt too many times, and it has a negative effect on us when other people come in and do something stupid. So don't it's not that I'm keeping it from you. Things are out there. You can understand the lake if you want to do the research. But
Yeah.
we went to this lake, and what happened at this lake was, before it was a lake, there was a United Nuclear Corporation got permission from the federal government and the military to work on a new type of engine. For what, no one knows, but they were using weapons grade uranium and materials. Okay, nuclear materials. They had an accident at the lake. The lake got contaminated. The military said that they cleaned it.
Of course.
Yeah, right. If you want your doctor, you can keep them. Another line. But what happened was it wasn't really clean. But that whole area there, and to get into the lake, you have to. They made it into a state park. So in order, from where the parking lot is to walk to get to the front end of the lake, and we'll just use the lake as, I'm just going to use this as an example. To get to this part where the lake starts, you have to walk about a mile.
Oh,
okay?
wow. Okay.
Through these woods. It's very quiet, and you're walking about a mile. Then when you get to the lake and you're actually there, you have two choices. You can go to the right part of the lake and circumvent the lake that way, and then you're going to get towards this one area at the top, which is like a go trail. You will kill yourself. It's not easy passing. There's like no clear path. Or if you go to the left side of the lake, you start following some of the old, roads that were built there that become pathways now. And it kind of goes around the lake, and there's a certain area that plateaus opens up where you, if you wanted to camp or something, which although you're not allowed to, because where this property is, it's right next to the, oh Jesus, I can't even remember the damn name, the Appalachian Trail. Sorry.
Okay. No, you're good. You're good.
Right. They kind of intersect at certain points, and then the Appalachian Trail continues going on. So it's easier to walk that way. I mean, there's certain parts that get hairy, it's difficult, but it's not like the other side of the lake. So we walked in, and we came in late because the state park closes at sunset, right? So we parked about a quarter to half a mile away. We walked down, got to the parking lot, and we backpacked. There was Al, myself, and a buddy of ours named Bill. Bill had his own Skywatcher show, and he was there because he wanted to videotape, and he was interested in the area because the area has always had high strangeness. So there's been sightings. Well, there's been sightings of some kind of creature there. I believe the Native Americans also knew of it as a special place. There's been strange lights, the whole nine. So, and Al has actually been there many, many times before because he lives close by, and he's had interactions with, he's heard the tree knocks, he's heard some screams. It's your atypical Bigfoot.
Yeah.
So, right. So we go in there now. This is Halloween night, full moon, meteor shower. Okay.
Oh, wow. When the bill's the thinnest, right?
Oh, yeah. It's like, when do you want to go? When the devil comes up, or do you want to wait? So we go in, and we walk the path, and we walk about 2 miles to the top of the lake. So we're at the top now. And the reason why we go over there is because that at one point Al found these quartz stones, quartz rock, and there's a huge connection to Bigfoot and quartz.
Now, why is that? Do you know, or do you have a theory on why?
Yeah, because quartz acts as a battery or a storage device.
Oh, okay.
Electronically. Actually, watches are made with quartz. They run off of quartz, right?
Didn't know that.
And also, if you have quartz, you can actually use it like a hard drive. You can actually record information on it. So it's a good capacitor for holding and storing energy or enhancing energy. And so on the way as we walked there, before we got to those stones, we saw some Karens piled up. Now, you're on the West Coast, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you know anything about the Inuit or the Eskimos?
Yes, I sure do.
So they build these Karens. They build these a lot of these statues. They look like people, but they're made out of stone. and they purposely build them in certain areas. Now people say, "Oh, it's like a shamanistic type of symbol. That's what it's there for." It's like it's not. It's a symbol. It's a warning to both Eskimos or Inuit, as well as anybody that comes there. There is a big creature there, and they're trying to create this stone structure to replicate what they've seen. So they said, "Well, you're here, but we have this."
Yes.
So some people
almost like a warning sign, right?
Right. Yeah, it's literally like
like the upside down trees.
Oh yeah. Well, the dogmen, that's insane. Dogmen with upside down trees are insane.
But, now is it the dogmen that did the upside down trees, or I thought it was Sasquatch that did it?
I've always known it as dogmen. I believe. I haven't been to the West Coast, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, before we jump into that, can I give a special shout out to everyone that showed up tonight?
Sure.
I forgot to do that earlier. I was going to do that before we started, brother. I just want to say thank you, Amber Brewer, for jumping in. Tom Cardos, the one and only. Thanks for joining, brother. Chris Deems with Country Boys Cryptid. Thank you, brother, for joining us. My wife, Lisa Crisp. Thank you, babe, for joining. Got to have your, second half. Let's see who else was in here. Brown Dwarf, thank you for joining. Brown Dwarf is actually in Northern California. You might want to talk to him about the Bigfoot. Yes, he's got really interesting stuff out of the redwoods. Let's see who else is on here. Miriam, she's up in Washington. Thank you, Miriam, for joining. She's one of our admins at West Coast.
Cool.
Yes, let's see who else is on here. I think I saw some other people.
Country Boy.
Bushwhacking. Yeah, Country Boy. Looks like... Where was it? Just saw him. Bushwhacking with Rooster. Yep. Stuart. Hey, Stuart, thanks for joining, brother. All right. Well, hey, what do you want to dive into? What topic? You want to talk dogmen, Sasquatch, cryptids, paranormal? The floor is yours, brother.
Yeah. No, I was going to tell you about the investigation.
Yeah. Okay, my bad. I got sidetracked for a second.
And it's fine. So when we get to... Basically, we see these cairns on the way there, and they're stuck in a pyramid, which we've seen before. It's kind of odd. In a spot where you can't reach it. You can't even get it from the back, and it's high up on the rocks. Who the hell's stacking it, right? So we go through the whole investigation. We get to that point at the top of the lake, and we make our camp there. And when we make the camp there, I'm just going to, so you can visually see it. If you're staring at us there, I'm sitting in a chair. One of those foldable chairs. Then about 10 feet away from me is Al, and then about 10 feet away from him is Bill. A little bit more than 10 feet each. So we're spread out. And we're doing, Al and I are doing experimentation. He's using the parabolic mic. He's getting some like Morse code thing. And we keep hearing the rock knocks and the tree knocks, and the rock knocks, tree knocks. And he hears things. You could feel and hear things walking on the foliage, all the down leaves, and it's heavy. And the problem is we have bear in the woods, and we do have big cat. I've never seen them personally, but I know that they're there.
Do you guys have the Black Panthers over in that area?
Which Black Panthers?
I just mean Panthers.
Yeah, we have those too, but we have yes. There's supposedly a Black Panther in New Jersey, and it's been caught on film a couple of times. And I've been in the forest area of the park where this was caught. If they do have them, they're very elusive. Oh, it's bedtime.
Yeah. Good night, Tom. Good night, Tom. Thanks for joining, brother. I know
I'll be up at 5, right? So.
Oh, I think he gets up at like 4, doesn't he? I know he's a busy guy.
Well, just got to get that AC going.
There you go.
HVAC. But thanks for coming in, Tommy. What's up, Steve? But so we're in this one spot, and Al's showing me these 2 crystal stones. Now, normally crystal quartz crystal, you get rocks, and you get kind of chunky of them. These happen to be shaped almost like balls. And what happened was Al was there a couple weeks ago earlier with Bill, and he said that there were 3 of them, but when we got there were only 2 of them. So like, what the hell happened to one of them? Because where it's situated, it's off the beaten path, and like, who took it, type of thing. Yeah. So we're all doing our experimentation, and we're using lasers, we're using We got the EK, the K2 meters looking for electromagnetic radiation, everything we can think of. Al has a quartz crystal that's rose in color. I have a clear one that's a
Oh,
skull.
okay.
They're two skulls, and sometimes when you bring them together, they create an energy. So we're seeing if that works, and nothing's working. Al's checking, for heat with a thermometer. Nothing's working. But while this is all going on for about an hour, you keep hearing the rock knocks, in the distance. And then you hear a tree knock, and then you hear, it's just like the signs are starting to point like, okay, something's around here.
Yes.
But it also starts there's a pressure that builds.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't describe it only as if you ever in the past, it doesn't happen as much now, but when a storm's coming, you can feel the pressure of the storm.
Yes.
So a low pressure system comes in, and then you kind of can smell the electricity in the air, the static,
Mm-hmm.
the negative ions, and that's what it kind of felt like. But it was more intense, and it was like everywhere, and you're kind of like, you're looking around now. At the time, I wasn't thinking about it, but it could have been infrasound based for us because as we were there to get ramped up, these sounds of tree knocks and rock knocks were getting closer,
Mm-hmm.
and it was getting stronger where we were, this pressure. So long story short, nightfall comes, it's pitch freaking black. Now where I'm located at the top of this lake, I can't go left in the pitch black because that's the go trail. I'm going to kill myself.
Can you at least get your hand in front of your face or no?
No, you can't.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You cannot. We actually, what we did was we broke a glow stick
Uh-huh.
and we threw it. Al threw one, and just to give us a little bit of light to kind of discern between where the trees are, because
Yeah.
you can poke your eye out. I mean, you
Ooh.
literally can get killed, right?
Yeah.
I can't run or I can't go into the water there because it's nuclear water. I'm not going to, its radiation levels were off the chart in that place.
Mm-hmm.
And then so it's like, I'm stuck here and I'm thinking this is one of my first investigation, big overnight type of thing
Mm-hmm.
with Al and Bill. And I'm like, okay, I kind of know Bill. I know Al. I got to trust these guys, but you got to start looking for your ways out. It's a New York thing. Sorry. You just don't want to be locked in.
I don't blame you.
Right. So I don't have any in New York. I do not have any firearms. Okay. I have none. It's just complicated to get. I live in the city.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do is I have a machete in my back. I have one on this side, and I have a couple of survival knives all around me. Okay.
Oh, you're ready to go. If you have to throw
You
down.
know what? Yeah. If something's coming, I'm ready to go.
You're going out with Lisa in knife fight.
I'm taking something with me. If I'm going to lose something, someone's going to be losing some skin, right?
Right.
And you don't know. I mean, it gives you enough distance to a bear or whatever.
Yeah.
So at one point, you start hearing the foot fodder, on the ground, and
Mm-hmm.
you can feel it. And I always say if you've ever been to an outdoor, like an e-fair where they have cattle pulls and horses, pulled up, or if you've been to a track or any place where horses, you feel the weight of that animal when it goes through the the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I've been to an outdoor circus where the elephant's walking and you can feel it. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what it is, and without missing a freaking beat, we hear something, bum, bum, bum. It's charging by Bill. And I get up, Al gets up, and I'm to the right of Al, and Bill's ready to run. And Al reaches around, grabs him, said, stand your ground, stand your ground. Bill would have been killed. Bill would have poked his eye
Now,
out.
let me ask you a real quick question. Was it quadruped or was it biped?
It was biped.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
It was biped. Now, Al was thinking one thing. He'll tell you that he's thinking it was a big cat or it was like a bear, a bluff charge from a bear. Bears do it too. Boom, boom. But this definitely felt boom, boom. It wasn't like there wasn't that the four-legged thing.
Yeah.
Definitely
Okay.
bipedal. And so I'm to his right, and I'm like, let's form. We're trying to form a triangle, right?
Yeah.
Al's in the center. I'm to his right. my freaking machete is out 3/4. I'm ready. Not playing. And all of a sudden, we shine the light over in that area to see what the hell's coming. Because Al's ready to, he says, I'm ready to sacrifice my arm, you know. Like, I don't know about that, but,
right.
but, you know, like, I'm not ready to sacrifice crap. There's nothing there. And it stops. So I have camera set up, so I have FLIR, I've got infrared, I've got full spectrum, we've got night vision, we've got a 3 or 5 million watt, you know, powered lamp. I mean, lights up the whole place. Nothing's there. So we run over to the area and we're looking, and where we happen to be situated and sitting is this rocks behind Al, but where Bill is, there's a low fence wall, like a stone wall. And where I am is a little bit of a hill. So we kind of go over and run up the hill, and we're looking. Nothing's on the camera. Nothing's being detected. I'm like, ooh, that's really weird. So we stand our ground. You know, we sit there. We stood our ground. We sit down. And you hear the rock knock, which is now about 100 yards away from us on the other side of, like, we have a little bit of land. There's some water from the top of the lake, and then there's like a little mountain, a small mountainside on the other side. That's where it's coming from. You hear the rock knocks, and then I'm expecting a tree knock or whatever, and without missing a beat, it goes whoop, whoop, and then whoop down at the other end of the lake.
Wow!
It reverberated off my chest. It's like being at a concert, feeling the bass, like. You know, do
you almost think like it's almost like infrasound, like that you got hit with, or?
Oh no, that was vocalization.
The vocalization.
100%, yeah.
Wow. Would you say it's almost like the samurai sounds?
It is 100% we try to see. I had recorders, and everybody had recorders.
Yeah.
And at certain points, things don't work. It's just a given. It's paranormal, and things drain your battery. Locations drain your battery, but I could have sworn we had nothing on there. It kind of just froze my camera. Everything else was frozen. So the closest thing we were able to get that sound exactly like it was from the Sierra Sounds, Ron Moorhead. And it was the whoop, 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 you know, it was like that. But this was so deep and loud. I mean, it just went through your body. It was at that point, we run up to this hill. This was no more than, I shit you not, no more than 20 feet from us. That's how loud and big it was. And it started from one side, like where Bill was, went to the middle, like where Al was, and then it trailed off. The third one was at the other end of the lake.
So it's portal hopping, you think, right?
So scientifically, it's on that side of the lake that's like a go trail, okay? There is no way in hell you can go from point A to point B 2 miles away without killing yourself or making noise. It didn't make noise, and it took a split second. It is logical. Well, this is my thinking. The only way that can happen is if it was able to create a portal, open it up, go in it, and then come out down at the other end of the lake.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, you know, trying to figure it out. And my personal opinion was this thing was a scout. Okay. This was letting the rock knockers know there's 3 of them. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Take the long way. Don't come over here.
Oh.
Think about that. That's how smart it was. It wasn't 4 whoops. It was whoop, whoop, whoop. And then after that, we didn't hear the rock knocks again whatsoever. We stood our ground. We were investigating. We didn't leave. So after a few minutes, what happened was that pressure that was there, like, it ceased. It just, like, you could breathe again. It was like, wow, what the hell just happened? You know, I'm sitting there thinking, what the hell's going on? When did this just happen? And we're trying to, like, you know, hang out there a little bit longer. We're discussing a little bit. Next thing you know, I hear something coming over from behind me up high through the tree branches. You hear the snapping and breaking of tree branches. And I felt this thud that landed probably 10 feet behind me. Boom. Roll. Hits my chair, and I get thrown out about 10 feet.
Oh,
and I go over there and I look, and it's a It's got to be a couple 100-pound rock, and it's like a
Man.
when I say boulder, I'm not thinking like huge boulders. I'm talking about it's about at least a 300-pound rock.
Yeah, but luckily it didn't crush you, though.
Well, that's the whole thing, right? These creatures are very accurate with what they do. They 99% of the time they're using their rock throws, their sticks, all these different things as weapons. They could probably kill a rabbit in a split second by throwing a pebble at it.
Yeah.
And I think they do hunt that way. Of course, with deer and all, they have to ambush it because the deer react too quickly to any sound. But other things, they could throw something at it, knock it out, and then they have the meal.
Do you think they use the rock throws as like an intimidation, like to get you out of the area? If they wanted to hit you in the head with it, they could, but they throw it kind of near you?
So, in relationship to Bigfoot, they use the rock throws to, one, get you the hell out of the area.
Okay.
And if you don't pay attention to it, they're going to vocalize and make sure or they're going to rip something out of the ground if they don't want you there. Okay?
Wow. Okay.
Or, and I've known about this too, they will use rock throws to warn you that there's something approaching, there's something ahead you don't want to see.
Interesting. Okay.
And I think what happened was, because of the first bluff charge, we didn't leave. Because of the whoops, we didn't leave. We stood our ground. I think this thing was so pissed off and frustrated and knew that we had weapons. Like, they could see the knives, and they know what long weapons are. I think it was just so pissed off that it was like, screw you guys, and he threw a rock, right?
Yeah.
That's my summation on it. But it's very interesting how this thing works out. Now, we took pictures throughout the whole investigation. We have video for the investigation. It's all online. Bronxville Paranormal Society and our YouTube page. Okay. We also put a lot of stuff on Facebook because it's just easier instead of maintaining a page. It's a pain in the ass to maintain a page.
Brother, I maintained over 20 plus. It's a hard thing to do. I'll be honest.
Yeah, it's and then when you get into some of these videos that go for like 12 hours,
yes,
that kind of like data space, I don't want to pay for it. We have to pay for our own website. So we put some stuff on Facebook, but we put raw information on Facebook, raw video. Anybody can watch it, and we want you to watch it. We want you to help with the investigation. Part of the things that we present to everybody is, we want everybody in this chat room to go there and go, I watched that video. You missed X, Y, and Z. Because, and I'm going to fast forward with this, I'm the chief technology officer for BPS and everything.
Al was telling me that in our interview. He's like, you're the technology guy.
Dude, I love you, Al, to death, but do not let Al touch anything electronic.
He's old school. Give him the typewriter.
Yeah, pretty much. No, he'll just he gets so frustrated that he'll just do something and delete something, and then it's like, I don't know what I get the phone calls. I don't know what I did, but I can't. Like, don't touch the fucking thing.
Just don't touch it, Al. Just don't touch it.
And then I hook it up, and there it is. Whatever.
Yeah.
So I go through all the evidence first. He listens to his own evidence, but I get everybody's evidence given to me. So I'm the idiot that's sitting there like this for hours. I think I heard something. Pulling things out, and then I'll throw it up there. We throw up raw images, and Al was doing an interview. Not that probably about a year after the event, because no one.
What year did the event happen? Do you remember the exact year?
It was
2015. Okay.
And after I'll continue with that in a split second. But after that event, we calmed down and we said, you know what? Let's move to a different location. So we packed our stuff up, and normally I just put everything in my little backpack. I have a little backpack. I don't want to carry all this stuff because it's you just
heavy,
don't want to be in the woods.
Bulky,
right? So I have this camera that's an Olympus 4 or something, F4 or something like that. It's an underwater camera. It's good for scuba diving. And what I loved about it for scuba diving is it's quick, but it also has an algorithm in there that knows how to calculate light, so that because underwater it's not bright. You'd have to use a flash all the time.
Yeah.
It uses a little bit of the flash, and then it really pulls in a lot of great information without any deterioration of the quality. So you're getting an actual image. You're not getting a computerized, well, this is what it should look like type thing. It's
crystal
image.
Clear, right? It's
yeah,
not
it's
one
like
of those blurry photos.
No, it's not a blurry photo.
Yeah.
So we take these pictures. We're always taking pictures. Al's taking pictures. Bill is just videotaping with his big camera. And we said, as we're packing up, we're going to go to this other spot, which is on the other side of where we are. So it's about probably a 15-minute max hike. Okay. And I'm packing my stuff up, and I have this camera, and I put it in my backpack. And I said to myself, Bryan, don't be that guy that gets to a spot and rummaging through his backpack to get it. So I put it in my breast pocket. And as we're walking, we get to the top of the lake, and you can see there's a shoreline to the right, it goes up. That's where we're going, and to the left is where we were. Beautiful sky, perfect stars, whatever. The moon's there, and I see an object that's in the sky, and it's like incandescent, like orangish yellow. It looks like an old school helicopter light, and it's moving from my right to the left. It's just going really, really slow, like
in a straight line.
Straight line across.
Okay.
This little like dot, and without missing a beat, I go, "What is that?" And I point to it, and it goes like that. As soon as I said that, it stops, and now it's heading towards me.
Oh.
So Al is like in front, then it's me, then it's Bill. Okay. And we get to a little bit more of the shoreline as it's coming over, and we have our headlamps on, and Al's right now praying, like, please don't let these guys get abducted. Please don't let these guys, he doesn't want the responsibility. I'm like, holy crap, this is getting good. So I stick my pull my hand out, and I start hitting record, and I'm holding this while we're looking at this thing. And we shut our headlamps off. This thing is no more than, I would say, 10 feet above any of the trees. The trees are about a good 20 to maybe 30 feet high, max. So we're talking about a 40-foot. It's really not that much higher than us. You hear this mechanical hum, or you ever play with an electronic engine? There's like there's a hum to it.
Yeah, like a humming sound, right?
Right, and
it's real vibrant.
Right, and for a split second, I'm thinking drone, but I'm also looking because you kind of can't see it. It's like blacker than the sky, so like gunmetal, dark, and you hear like a buzz, and at that point, Al goes time check. So we go 9:15. I'm like, okay, cool, and we're videotaping, and I videotaped for over a minute. I can videotape unlimited. I had tons of, space on my drive, and I'm videotaping, and the next thing you know, it hits us with a beam of light.
So it's already illuminating orange, right? But then it hits you with a beam. Is what you're saying?
It's orange. It's a circle. It seems to be a circle. It's orange in the center, coming at us.
Like self-illuminating, right?
Right. It looks like an orange. I mean, from where we were, as it got closer, it was the size of a Frisbee. Kind of orange.
Yeah.
Then it stopped. We were kind of behind trees without the lamps on, and it sent a beam of light down, and it kind of lit us up. We were kind of behind the trees, not necessarily hiding, but we didn't want to give our position away. We were I was worried. Yeah. Well, we're partially worried about, if you trespass on federal lands,
they're gonna get you.
It's not a good thing, right? But this was not. It had a feel of a drone, but it was very, very bizarre. And you hear Al, say time check in the video. It's on YouTube, Bronxville Paranormal Society, 9:15, and then the next thing you hear me curse. What the fuck is it? Pardon my cursing right now. And then you hear a couple of minutes later, I don't know, you hear a little bit of talking. I think it's from Bill. And then Bill comes off and says, in a way like, what is it? What kind of thing is it? Very robotic. And then it was done. It was gone. So it didn't seem to last too long. So we get our stuff, we move to the next location, and in the net, which is literally 10 minutes away from us. Okay. We set up our chairs, whatever we need. Bill has his camera. He's videotaping for a bit. And we get there, and Al, and we do a little bit of investigating with some lights in the water. Al has a red laser. I have a green laser. And when he says, like, on 3, you hit it with that, and I'll hit it with this. We'll see what happens. And we hit this orb with the lasers, and it, kind of like shot away. We're finding, I'm looking in the trees that are around us, tree line, and I'm seeing this little thing moving from tree to tree, and some other things in shadow in the back, big things. And it just so happened that we hooked up to Bill's camera, his video camera. I had a portable LCD screen that was about 6 inches, 6x4, and you could plug it into the camera. So we jerry-rigged this camera to take it so that Al could stand there looking at it and see a visual copy of what Bill's seeing in the eyepiece. And Al and Bill are seeing these, like, I've said, guys, I'm seeing like this little like gnomey thing moving from tree to tree, and they have it on tape.
Oh, interesting.
And he goes, dude, we got this on tape.
And you said this is on your guys' Bronxville Paranormal Society YouTube page, right? Okay, I just went and I think I copied the link. I just posted it, so you guys, if you want, go join Bryan and Al. But yeah, I'm sorry, but I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to post that to let you guys know.
Not a problem. So now we're recording on a brand new SD card. I gave him a micro SD card. There's no electronics in it. Just records right to the card. It's very simple. And I look at it in the screen, and it looks like this about 30 minutes worth of recording. I'm like, holy shit. Every one of us is like, we've got the evidence that everybody's ever wanted, blah, 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 So we're like, dude, let's run this back. So we go and we start looking through the viewfinder. We find the file in the camera, try to connect it, file corrupted. We're like, are you fucking kidding me? And I said, you know what? Try it again. We tried it a couple more times. I said, don't worry about it. Give me the, I have software because I have tons of it. And a lot of times when I get corrupted files, I can put it through a software piece, and somehow it knows how to rebuild the file with the same blocks. It's all computer technology.
Gotta love it. I'm glad we have it, to be honest.
Let me tell you something. It's saved my ass a couple times on real things, not paranormal stuff.
Yeah.
But it's always good to have. So when that was over, Bill decided to walk a little bit away from us, and we're in this flat plateau area there. Like I said, it's the campgroundish type of thing. You're not allowed to camp there. So Bill, we wanted to, when we called our psychic when we were at the Bigfoot site, she couldn't talk. It sounded like she had marbles in her mouth. It was really weird. We couldn't hear her. It wasn't a cell phone connection thing. We had 5 bars. It was just she was unable to communicate. So Al goes, I said, we got to call Cindy back because, we just left her in the water.
And Cindy, for people that don't know, is the medium, right? That you guys can find in?
Cindy is our, psychic medium.
Psychic medium, I'm sorry.
Yeah, she's in Arkansas.
Arkansas, okay.
So Al does this when I said, okay, let's get he's getting his phone out. He goes, hey, time check. Now, this is no more than, so it was like 10 minutes max from the 905 UFO thing. So that would, let's say it was, 9:20 at that point. By the time we were finished doing the UFO, like seeing the stuff on the video, you're looking at like 9:45. It's really not that, it's like 30 minutes. That's what it seemed like. It literally seemed like 15, but it wasn't that much time.
Did you guys, Bryan, Steve Riley had a comment. He said, Bryan, did you all check your vitals to be safe?
No, you know what? We just continued on. It was very bizarre, the whole thing, because we had these experiences, but yet we just moved on as if nothing happened.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of hard to explain, but Al, once again, I said, let's call Cindy. He goes, give me a time check. It's 10 to 12 at this point.
Oh.
So we went from about 9:40 to 10 to 12, and it felt like, an instant. So we're missing time at this point.
Yeah, 2.5 hours roughly.
So we're questioning it. I'm like, let me see your watch. I look at his watch, and my watch it's 10 to 12. I'm like, dude, it's 10 to 12. So, and we asked Bill. Bill's like, yeah, it's 11:50, and Al and I are just absolutely perplexed by this because what the hell just happened? Where did that time go? Right?
Do you think when the orange uh, globe-looking thing that you were saying, when it casted the light, do you think that was when you lost the 2 hours?
Yes, I think we at the end of this, we believe we were missing time is because of the crash.
Because of,
Right.
wow, okay.
Yeah. So we call up Cindy, and she's like mad at us. What the hell's going on with you guys? I've been trying to call, and we explain what's going on. And we're talking to her for about no more than 2 minutes when we hear what sounds like, I swear to God, a family out in the middle of the woods, midnight on Halloween, walking like they were on a pleasure like hike through the woods.
Yeah.
So we hang up on Cindy, and Al and I go to Bill. Bill, like, turn your light on, because Bill hears that, and it's like closer to where he is. Mm-hmm. Let's not scare this family coming in, 3 guys with knives and whatever in the middle of the woods in the dark, So we turn the lights on, and we're waiting, and 15 minutes go by, and nobody comes. Like, what the F? So we go investigate. I mean, Bill puts the flashlight, 5 million watts, candle watts, Loomies, whatever it is, and no one's there. And we're like, what the hell's going on? So we call Cindy back. She goes, what the hell's going on? And we explained to her, like, when we were there, we heard a family coming, where it sounded like a family, and we didn't want to scare them, so we hung up and put the lights on. She goes, you're missing it. That family's not there. They're not going to be there till tomorrow. You're in a space-time rip.
Oh, shoot.
And we're like, what?
What the?
She goes, yes, you're in a time rip. They're going to be there tomorrow. You're seeing what's happening tomorrow there. So we were just like, what the, whatever.
Yeah, you can cuss, brother. I'm just saying, you're good. You can be yourself. You don't got to filter it.
Yeah, well, I'm just trying, for educational purposes.
Yeah, for educational purposes.
So
the more you know.
Yeah. So we're like, time space trip. She goes, yes. Now she goes, and we told her about the stuff that we were seeing in the dwarf, like I saw like what would look like gnomes, elves moving from tree to tree. She goes, yes. And I also saw shadows of things that were much taller than myself. I'm 6'1", and then a shadow of another, like taller being. She goes,
how tall would you say the beings were? Like 7, 8, or to 10, or?
So one was easily 7 to 8 feet tall, and the other one was like at least 12 feet tall.
Oh shoot! Okay.
And they're around us. It's kind of like, it's a really weird. It's like we're being surrounded. Mm-hmm. And at that point, we explained, it was like we felt like we're being surrounded. She goes, you are being surrounded. You're being watched. They're the watchers. There's Native Americans there. There's Bigfoot there. There's other watchers that are there, and they're watching what you're doing. That's why you're seeing it. So all this is going through, and then eventually, we kind of hang up with her, and we're trying to figure things out, and it's late. And Al thought that was the night that we moved the clocks forward.
Spring forward?
Right. So
yeah.
Kind of, and let me tell you something. We've been there since we've been doing this since 2 p.m, kind of almost.
Oh wow.
We're all kind of spent. So we said, you know what? Let's just go. And we're not thinking about what happened. We don't feel like anything really special happened. Every time something happened, we kind of talked about it for like a minute, and then we forget about it and move on. Mm-hmm. And so we start packing the stuff up when we're walking out. And we walk out. Now, normally what happens is when we do an investigation, be it paranormal, cryptid, or whatever, when it's over and done with, we try to find a diner. Al's going to get some coffee. We're usually hungry. Mm-hmm. And we sit there and we say, well, what did you experience? What did you experience? We do like a round table, like where we're trying to figure things out.
Yeah. And
what's really funny was we walked out of there like, well, nothing really happened. I'm tired. We're going home. Everybody was tired. So we all just went our separate ways. Now, Bill and Al drove off in Al's car. Mm-hmm. And I took my car because I'm an hour plus up from the city where I got to get back to. But that whole night driving back from the city, I kid you not, I'm scanning the skies. I just felt like I need to make sure there's nothing up above. or
Now,
something
can I
was
ask
occurring.
you a quick question
Yeah.
about that? When you guys were heading back home, like Steve Riley said, did you feel like just like, were you think you were drained from the contact, or just drained from when you guys started at 2 in the afternoon to roughly what 12 at night?
I
You think,
think we
or is it
were.
a combination of both?
I think. Well, it was like October. So it was a little bit cooler.
Uh huh.
Um, where you're in the dark, all your senses are working 24/7. It's really working. So you're gonna be drained a little bit from that. But I really do, in hindsight, believe that we were just drained.
Oh,
We
okay.
went through so many different experiences.
Yeah, I
And
was gonna say.
right. So long story short, they get home. Bill lives in a different area, so he goes to his house.
Now, how far are you guys apart from the three of each other in New York? Let's say an
So
hour apiece, or
I'm about an hour and 20 minutes from Al. So I'm in New York
okay.
City. He's in Dutchess County,
Uh
and Bill's on the other side of the river in New York, in Newburgh. So
okay.
Bill's about like 30 minutes, 40 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. So it's still like a good hour drive or so, right?
Yeah, you
Okay.
know. So I come home and I do my ritual. I take everything off. Sorry for the visual, folks. Everything off. I put it into a plastic bag, tie it up. I shower. It doesn't matter what time I come in there because I want to get all the negative crap off of me. I go
That's
to bed.
smart. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cleansing ritual. We sage each other. We sage before we leave, and then I clean myself with water. It's a great purifier. So it happened to be the next day. I think it was like a Saturday night. So Sunday, that's when it happened. I believe it was one of those nights where the next day, yeah, it was Sunday because my wife went out and picked up my kids from Sunday school. So I'm home and I wake up and I'm like, I got this phlegm and this metallic-y taste in my mouth. And I just look and I start, I hawk up some stuff. It's blue. I mean, I use the
Oh
term, I
wow.
ate a Smurf, dude.
Oh
It was
shoot.
bright blue in my mouth. And I'm like, I'm spitting up metallic. I'm like, what the F is this?
Yeah.
So I get on the phone and I said, Al, I woke up, I got blue shit in my mouth, and I have a bump in my head because I had a bump in the back of my head. I never was there before. I said, how are you okay? Is anything wrong with you? He goes, well, I got something in my lip. It feels like I got something stuck on my lip. I said, okay, do me a favor. Call Bill. Find out how he's doing. He goes, okay. And I said, then call me back. No problem. Hang up the phone. Now, I'm standing there, typical dad. I got my shorts on that I slept in, and I have no shirt on. I come to the door, and my kid's like, Dad, you're home. Dad, what happened? And I'm like, what are you talking about? What happened? Because what happened? Where'd you get those bruises? I have a bruise on my chest area by the pecs, and then down lower, near the navel of my. And I'm like, I'm looking down, and my wife's like, yeah, what happened to you? How'd you get those black and blues? And I'm like, I have no idea. So at that point, I said, oh, I don't know. I must have knocked into something. I didn't knock into shit. Okay. I call back. Al calls me back. And he goes, dude, Bill woke up in the middle of the night screaming bloody murder, scared the hell out of his mother because he was staying at his mother's house, and scared the crap out of her. I mean, like he was in terror, he said. He says, mother came in. She was going to take him to the hospital, whatever. So I said, okay, let's call Cindy. I'll call Cindy. Cindy in Arkansas has a scratch and burn mark down her arm.
Oh shoot.
And I'm like, what the F just happened?
Like a poltergeist or something, right? Some entity.
Well, long story short on this end, sorry about it, it's a pretty long story, but
Yeah, you're good, brother.
I think what happened was we all got abducted at the same time. And we all were taken, including Cindy. And I think wherever the marks are were something to hold me down because I'm pretty feisty and I'm not going to let you do stupid things to me. I mean,
Yeah.
I know Al has his own experiences. At one point mentally, he said, I could reach out and grab one of their necks and kill them,
Right.
Right. So, yeah, Steve, it was kind of, I'll tell you, when the whoops came and the big that Sasquatch, that was a depends moment. I use the term all the time. You know, you need to have depends on for those. You know, because you're not. Even though we investigate this stuff, I don't give a shit what anybody says. When it happens, it's always a surprise that it's happening. It really is, and it's partially unnerving, but partially like, you know, adrenaline based, and it's just weird.
Yeah.
But so that was our experience. We all agreed that if we're going to get regressed, we'd do it together. Although Al decided to do what Al wanted to do. Go figure. Go figure. And he talked to a friend of ours, Rosemary Ellen Guiley, and she was going to, you know, regress him. She passed away, unfortunately, before that happened.
Oh, sorry to hear about that.
Yeah. But great investigator. One of the best in the field. But to this day, I know, I sent the audio tape to a buddy of mine that's been multiple abductee. And I said, what do you think of this? And I said, we're thinking about reading Regress. What do you think? And he said, you were downloaded. I said, what? He goes, you were downloaded.
What?
They took you. And I said, well, what about a regression? He goes, well, let me ask you, how do you sleep at night? I said, well, I have a hard time sleeping at night. He goes, no. You know, I have a hard time going to sleep. I've got kids. You worry about you're trying to decompress. It's hard.
Yeah.
And he goes, no. Do you wake up? You have nightmares, terror? No. I don't have that. I just have a hard time going to sleep. He goes, don't ever get regressed. The minute you get regressed, you will never sleep again if you know what's really happening to you. And he's right. If you've been abducted and you don't know that you've been abducted, or you think you may have, there's a reason why you don't remember. Because you may not be able to handle what you're gonna open up on you.
Yeah.
You know, so that is that. But Al does an interview about a year later, and he's discussing what's took place. So one guy goes to our website, pulls down the photos, looking through everything, and lo and behold, on photographs that I must have seen on screens from 8 inches wide to 75 inches wide.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
Multiple times. He circles in one scene. There is what looks like a giant monkey sitting there, conical head in the woods. You know, looks like a Bigfoot. And in the other scene, just over a fence wall, which looked like the fence wall where Bill was, is a dogman. And it has the snout and the pointy ears, and it's just like with its nose up, like it's sniffing.
All in the same area, right?
All in the same damn area.
Which is crazy because these things are so territorial, apex predators. But I mean, when it comes to the paranormal aspect, I guess it's all intertwined somehow.
So yeah, I mean, and then, you know, talking about the territorial stuff and what you're talking about. Just to fast forward, 6 months later, we went back to that location. We're all being drawn there. And just no more than 20 yards from where that mountain was, where we're sitting, we're videotaping. And right in the middle of like this, I would call a swamp, there's a mound there. And it's a den, dude. It's a den. I took the video that Bill took. I did the still shots. He was showing the video at his home, you know, running it through. And the mother goes, what's the monkey doing there? And Bill's like, what are you talking about? And she pointed out the monkey in the den. We caught a den. And in the den images, and I'll send them to you if you want to.
Yeah, if you could. I'd love to see that.
Yeah. In the den photos is literally, you see this huge, humongous, ugly, disgusting type of thing. It looks like the Green Goblin, but like worse. And then you see what looks like German Shepherd pups, and one of them showing its teeth.
What?
And we had a den there. Now, what we think took place there, because of the Bigfoot and because of the Dogman, was we feel that this would be classified as a Dogman Type 3, which can be more like a hybrid or a deformed Dogman. And we think that the Bigfoot and the Dogman had we'll just say a relationship.
Oh, okay. Because
And
that's where you
that's
get
what,
the variants with the hominid leg structures, dog-like heads, right?
right.
Okay.
This is, I think that these two were together. And
For
because you
survival
have two,
purposes, right?
well, whatever. I mean, I think it's, it's kind of like a really weird West Side Story,
Yeah,
the Jets
definitely.
and the Sharks. But
Yeah.
this is where I've heard this before where normally if you have Bigfoot, you have Dogman. It's a guarantee. And then you
Just
have
like
something,
LBL.
right. And then you have something in between that separates, like, yo, dude, you stay on that side of the lake and we stay here.
Yeah,
Okay?
exactly.
It's a given. Dogmen are always like, fuck you, we're coming, and they push the envelope. The
Yeah.
Bigfoots fight back and whatever. So I personally think that, and I'm working on a theory here, I think there's a lot stronger connection between these two cryptids and a couple others than you would think about. I mean, I didn't talk about this to Jody at all or Dave, but and it's kind of hard to prove your theory or your hypothesis.
Oh,
But I
yeah.
think there's a huger connection here than just Dogman and Bigfoot.
Yeah,
And
being two
Mothman.
separate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I'm writing about this, and it's kind of hard. I can't just explain it. The way I'm writing it out, you'll see it, the pathway, and then you can go back and reference what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. But hopefully, I'll have that out within a couple of months or so.
Yeah, I was just going
More
to
than a
ask
couple
you
of months.
before, when do you think you're going to have that book released? Before
Well-
or after Christmas, probably?
Oh, it's definitely going to be after Christmas.
Oh, okay.
It's because I know it's good. The people in the Bigfoot community as well as the Dogman community or Mothman, they're going to give me so much crap. But look, I'm not doing it for anybody's approval. I'm doing it for information for me.
Yeah.
And I studied science. I'm not a scientist, but I'm trying to get it through a scientific method. And whether you like it or not, even though Jody's been going out looking for Dogmen for forever.
Yeah.
We've been looking for. I didn't want to believe in Dogmen.
A lot of Bigfoot people
This
don't.
this guy right here
Uh-huh.
is like, dude, you got to hear these stories. And then you hear them and you're like, oh, come on, a werewolf. And then you meet somebody and you're introduced to people and you hear their story. And they work for the government and they have more, military wise, they have more to lose than to gain. They literally could lose their livelihood and their life. And then you have encounters and you're like, oh crap, there's a werewolf out there,
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Some of the ones like where they say they, befriend the dog man and they pet him and they name. Those are the ones that where I really scratch my head and like, this is hard to believe, but we're all in this on just theory basis. Maybe this person really did. Maybe there is a docile dog man.
So yeah, well,
It's hard to believe, to be honest, but I'm just saying that I can't kick it because I have to keep an open mind to every theory.
you can't kick it, but I would like to interview the person personally.
Yeah, of course.
But you know what? I can tell you this, that there are people in this world that believe what they're saying is true, but may not be true. I'm not saying the people that, I had a pet dog, man. Yeah, whatever.
I agree, brother. It makes you
I-
just, it's almost a joke to our community, to be honest with you, the dog man, the cryptid community, when people are saying, oh, I befriended them, I cuddled with them, or it cracks me up, to be honest.
I've heard stories where people put their hand in the dogman's mouth, and I'm like, no, you do. Look,
looking for the 5 minutes of fame.
I don't know what fame. I don't know how they're making money. If that's
Oh,
what
yeah.
the fame's for. Well, you're already crazy if you believe in these things to begin with. What
Exactly.
is the head of the yellow school bus or what? I mean,
Right.
no offense to everybody, but I mean that's the way it is.
Yeah.
But it's like, there are people that they believe what they're saying is true, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's true. And there's ways when you actually interact with people, when you interview enough people in this world, when people are full of, what?
Oh,
shit.
yeah, Vic,
Okay.
Vic gets them all the time, and Vic kind of especially.
And there's a lot of tells. I have a lot of friends and family members that work in government and military, the different branches and different lettered agencies. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I've talked to these people because a lot of these individuals, I've talked to people from DARPA. I was actually just talking to one last week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And they can't give it. I don't have a security clearance, and I'm not asking them to reveal anything. I
Yeah, of
appreciate
course.
what they do for the country. So, if you serve, by the way, happy birthday, U.S. Marines today.
Yep.
Yep. So if you've served, I can't thank you enough for what you've done for this country. But I know,
Thank you.
yeah, I know people that are coming out publicly now, and their job in the U.S. government was to deceive people and
Mm-hmm.
false information, but yet they're telling the truth about UFOs. Yeah, go ahead. I got a bridge outside my window. I'll sell it to you because it's real. It's for sale.
Mm-hmm.
Just give me a pack of cigarettes and it's yours. I don't believe these people.
Right.
But I know how to read people a lot better than people do. I know how to take information.
Tell someone that's lying, right, or just making up a
100%.
story. Yeah.
100%. And also, I don't normally talk about it, but I do certain things. I have certain, I'm going to say it's abilities, whatever the hell it is. And I know when people are full of shit. And I know what people do. Like when you're working covertly for the government,
Mm-hmm.
because I've had discussions with people that work covertly for the government,
Mm-hmm.
covert, and how they operate and what they would do and how they set things up. And there are people in this community right now that all those, everything was ticked off. Oh, this, and I know they're full of shit.
Yeah.
And I just leave it alone. It's not my thing unless they go after me, and then
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna come back at you. So, but yeah, I just don't believe the dogman is kind, sweet, and
I
wonderful.
don't agree, especially being an apex predator. Real quick, I just wanted to say hi to Javi. Javi's out here in California. He's part of the North American Dogman Project, and he's also runs his own Cryptid 559. Incredible
Cool.
researcher. We're going to try to get a team together and go investigate our first encounter for the North American Dogman Project out in the Santa Cruz Mountains. Also, wanted to say thank you.
That's where the werewolves are.
Yeah, exactly. To Casual Conversations with G&A. Thank you for joining us. But yeah, I just wanted to say, brother, I don't believe that the dogman is a cuddly dog that you can just go up and pet and give a beef jerky stick to and say, "You're coming home with me." Can't adopt them.
We've had a couple of reports in New York State that were I've actually talked to people that have had, pretty interesting encounters with the dogman, and it's never been nice.
Pleasant, right?
No.
Mm-hmm.
It's very odd that they're really, really intelligent and they like to mess around with humans. I think they're aware of what they look like and the power they possess.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll play around with people's houses, like they'll knock on the back door and then the front door, and the back door and the front door at 3 a.m, or they'll scratch on your window. They just psychologically, it's really weird. Or they'll say, try to get you to open the door. Now,
Yeah.
I mean, like you got to understand, this is probably an 8-foot, or taller animal, bipedal wood animal that could kill you in a second.
If it wanted to, right?
You're right. Why is it not coming through the door, just grabbing you and going?
Mm-hmm.
I just think there's certain rules that they have to follow, and I don't understand why. And I've been trying to figure this out. But it's kind of like that vampire thing, and you said
It has to be welcomed in, right?
Right, you have to welcome it in. Maybe there is something to that, or maybe they just know that humans are very unpredictable and they're very violent.
Yes.
And like you can scare, you can mess around with them a couple of times, but you're going to get to a point where they're going to fight back and you're done.
Exactly.
So one of the examples we did an investigation, Al and I, years later, and we went to a place called Letchworth Village Cemetery. Letchworth Village is a 28,000 acre piece of property upstate New York. It was I would say an insane asylum hospital where they put the unwanted, the disfigured, and whatever there. And they used to experiment on these children from age 0 up to 90 or whatever. These bastard people. And what they did was they buried a lot of these individuals in an unmarked grave. So we went to this unmarked grave, and I'm not gonna tell you. We go in there, and I'm in paranormal mode.
Mhm.
I'm not in cryptid mode. I'm not in Bigfoot or Dogman mode. I'm in ghost hunting. Make this flashlight turn or whatever it is. And you have to be in these certain modes. And we heard these big dogs, and this is in a part of the property that no one goes to. A couple of houses around there. So we parked, and when you park at this spot, you have to walk about a quarter of a mile in, and then you get to this open where the road goes to the right and the left, but there's a mound in the middle. That mound is dead bodies.
Oh wow, okay.
Right. So there's a hundred plus or three, whatever it is, and someone erected a monument, and they started filling in who they found that was buried there. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, to give them, to so they don't die in an unmarked grave. And the monument itself, if you're standing there, is about 4 feet tall, and it's probably 6 feet wide. So we put our equipment on the other side of the monument. We set up so our backs are protected. So if anything comes, at least we have a place. It's strategy and something charging at us, or if people walk by, they won't have to see us, and we don't have to explain. Well, we're paranormal investigators, whatever.
Yeah, no, I agree. How to do the whole 9 yards, right?
Yeah.
We're just out here.
Exactly. Paranormal investigators. Here you go. So
Yeah.
while we're there, we're doing this investigation, and we hear like a 4-wheeler come in our direction. There are 2 kids on it, and they're coming in like a bat out of hell. And we just happen to be sitting at the point, and they go looking, and you can hear them. Well, we're looking for him. And like, whatever. And then they come back, and then they see us. I said, should we, let them see us? And like, yeah. So we see us, and they're like, what are you doing here? And said, well, we're paranormal investigators. We're investigating the Electric Cemetery. And they're like, they're investigators. We're out of here. And they go. Like, they come in quick, and then they go. Like, they don't want to be there. And it didn't register at the time. So we do our investigation. We hear these big, like, doggy sounds, but it could be anybody has a German Shepherd or something.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So we get to a certain point, and I'm still thinking like ghost hunting, but we get to a point where we're getting a little bit of Al and I always separate. We do our little experiments, then we come together, we walk, and then we do a little bit more. And I look up in this one pathway, and mind you, where the cemetery is, to the left of the cemetery is a cut through for power lines.
Oh, okay.
And what are power lines known for? It's a Bigfoot thoroughfare. It's a
Yes,
dog thoroughfare.
I've heard that theory plenty of times.
Right, and they give off electricity, so and that pays attention. So when I'm telling you that I think these things are interdimensional, that's when I experienced it at the first investigation. Something maybe some people don't understand is that when I think this is an innate ability for this creature to change its from physical flesh and blood into interdimensional or a different form of energy, because we're all energy.
Yeah, of course.
But they're able to do it. And when they say, well, how does it do it? I'm like, well, if you studied physics and you study science and electromagnetic, science this way, when you convert energy from one form to another, there's a byproduct. Okay? That byproduct is like a little explosion or a little light or a light anomaly. So when people are saying, well, I know somebody's seen lights by Bigfoot, UFO lights.
Yeah.
What if it's not a UFO light? What if it is changed its form from one form of energy into another, and it's actually a byproduct of the transformation? And it needs the other energy to transform again. So it can travel and cloak itself in that form of energy. And then when it's safe to go, they'll become flesh and blood.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's a good theory. I never heard that one really being a byproduct.
It's kind of like, and everybody's like, well, how would they do it? I said, when I say it's innate, I'm going to ask you a question. You breathe air, right? Okay. How?
Yeah, I guess this is natural, right?
It's innate. It's within.
This is natural. We have to do it, or if we don't, we die.
Right. Now, since none of us have a Bigfoot that I'm aware of, or a dog man to test this on, except for the government, which
I know,
they
right?
have them, But so again, it's theory. But if you take what we learn in science with the conversion of energy, it takes more energy to convert into another form of energy. Hence
Interesting.
why if you're creating an electromagnetic field to convert into a different form of energy, you're going to affect all your cameras,
The
digital,
electromagnetic field.
your recorders, your lights, everything that we're using in the field. You can change it. You can suck that energy out of it. Why is it that when you use game cameras, you get blob squatches? Very
Exactly.
rarely will you get a clear image of something
Or it's
because
moving so fast that, like you said,
that
blob squatch.
right, that or it has the ability to drain the batteries on that and manipulate the digital spectrum on the lens, the CCD lens, to change it. So if you can change your own energy, I'm sure you can draw from other energies to manipulate it, put up a shield, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Now
Now,
I wish,
Brian, I was
yeah,
going to ask you, what do you think on the theory that my good buddy Paul Chafin told me a good theory that trail cams will not work when it comes to these cryptids is because when you have the trail cam set up, they smell the petroleum and they pick up the infrasound or the red light, the UV and all that. Is that something you believe that's possible?
okay, I'll tell you why I think they don't work. I don't know if they can smell it. They may be able to detect some kind of that electricity or the battery,
Okay.
the fuel. The petroleum is a very interesting product because they can smell something different, and I'm sure that's part of it too. But I'll give you a great example. If anybody's ever had a child or a baby, right? You put the baby monitor in there, okay? And when you close the door, the baby's sleeping. Now, the room's pitch black, but this sure as hell can see the baby, right? Because you're
Yeah.
using an like an infrared light source.
There we go.
Okay,
Infrared. Yeah.
right. So if you went into that room with that has the baby monitor in there, and you took your digital camera or any camera, and you took a picture without a flash, it'd come out perfect because it's seeing the visual light. It's seeing that spectrum.
Yeah.
So you can see it. We can't see it, but I do believe that the Bigfoot, the Dogman, all these creatures, they have another layer on their tapia of their eye. It's like a lemur, and that's why when you see Bigfoot's eyes, unless you're getting it really during the daylight, you always see it looks very, very dark there. And I think it's an extra lens that goes over, and that allows them to see, one, in the dark, like a nocturnal animal.
Yeah.
And two, they see the light coming from the cameras. And if
Kind of like a great white when their eyelids switch back and forth, right?
exactly, they're actually changing their field of view based on like the ability to see, depending on how much sunlight or moonlight is coming in from the surface. And then once they get down deep, they got to be able to see it. Otherwise, they're gonna, yes, I'm sure they use a little bit sonar or some kind of like vibration thing within. But I think that the lens itself, I think it enhances it's like night vision, like soldiers using that night vision.
Yeah, when they drop it down from their helmet.
Right. So, like, matter of fact, if you had one of those night vision cameras and you went and you saw a game camera in the woods, you'd know it's a game camera because you'd see the light coming from the UV.
That would make sense. Okay, so I never really thought of that.
They don't work. The only way they're going to work, the only way that when these creatures are unaware that they know what a camera is, they're not stupid. When they're unaware that there's a camera there, then they don't do anything to affect the electromagnetic or the visual spectrum. And this way you're going to get a great photo. The reason why the Patty film is, in my opinion, the greatest evidence of Sasquatch, the cameras they were using had little, if no, electronics in them.
They were hand cranked, right? The 8mm?
Yep.
Yeah.
99% positive, all hand cranked, which means there was zero electronics, which is like Al says, we go old school, we go new school. So, and that's why you caught a clear image of this creature there.
Yeah.
As clear as you're going to get. You try to do the patty footage with a digital camera, you never would have seen any of it.
No, it would have
Never
just been a
be
blob,
patty.
like you said.
Right, because it's going to put out whatever waves it needs to put out or do what it does. That and that's going to affect everything. This is why when you meet the reports of a dogman or a Bigfoot, I felt uncomfortable. Be it infrasound, infrasound and waves. It's all part of it's all part of a spectrum. There's electricity there, so it's
Yep.
affecting things. Even though it's an audio sound, it does affect you. Your audio is used right now to levitate objects. And these creatures, infrasound is known to manipulate things,
Yes.
physical objects. So it's all par for the course. I saw something about a super soldier right there.
Yeah, Chris Deems at Country Boy Cryptids asked, Brian, what is your opinion on Dogman being a super soldier?
So my opinion is this: I believe dogmen existed just like Bigfoot existed for millennium. The different spots of it. I do believe that our military are very much aware of these cryptids, and they have specimens of said cryptids because of their cloaking ability. And you have a freaking 9-foot werewolf. It's a killing machine.
Oh, yeah.
No shit. And like, take a pit bull or my bull terrier. I had a bull terrier, Patton's dog. Okay, Spuds McKenzie, whatever you want to call him, target dog. The dog was diesel. A killing machine if you wanted to. You put that dog and make it 9 feet tall. It's a killing machine.
Oh, guaranteed.
Like a
Especially with
polar
razor sharp claws,
Right. A polar bear is an apex predator. Well, it's a killing machine. All it knows how to do is eat, kill. That's it. So when you're in the military, if you come across these things, and I know through talking to various branches of the military, individual certain branches that have sworn up and down, my job is to, if we get reports of these cryptids, we go out and we take them out, or we try to capture them or whatever. I know they're being brought back to the government, and you bet your ass they're doing genetic programming or something with these cryptids, and they're creating what you call the super soldiers.
Yeah, that's why they're always seen around military sites or something. Now, a question I want to ask you: do you think when they use them in battle, like in Vietnam, I've heard a few accounts over there, then when they're done and they use them, they release them out into the national forests?
I think what you have is an atypical situation of America. Well, I was going to say Americans, but human beings being very arrogant, like they're in charge. So you have this 12-foot apex predator. It's a killing machine, and you put something you think you put a control device in it. Well, you know what? After a while, like, my dog was trained, but there was something about the red Solo cups that would turn my dog from this really sweet, wonderful animal into the Tasmanian devil.
Oh, wow.
And that and rawhide, to the
Right.
point where there's a natural instinct within these creatures that is always fighting any type of control. And
It's almost
I think
like what you say, like the Jurassic Park with the Velociraptors, right? Where they're trying
Yeah.
to use them for hunting and all this, and then Blue and all the other ones just break loose because that apex predator mentality, right?
it's within you. It's like they're not supposed to be controlled. They are
Exactly.
free will to do what they do. Now it's really weird though, because throughout interviewing people, but also the stories you hear throughout time, it seems that the dogman itself, it's really weird, but I feel it's like a collective. They kind of know, like, if one dogman experiences something, everybody knows what that experience is.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. It's kind of like if you've ever watched Star Trek and they call it "We're the Q," and it's a hive mindset where everybody knows what everybody's doing, no matter if they're on location or not. It's just a universal experience. And for some reason, like, you'll get reports of someone taking shots at the dogman or killing one, getting lucky and killing one. There was one report, I forgot where it was. Guy was out in the woods, dogman there, 30-odd 6, boom, 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 lays into it, kills it, and then backs out, but there's another. Usually, if you have one dogman in front of you or near you, like this way, you're gonna have another one creeping up.
Like a pack, because they're a pack creature, right?
Yeah, there's at least two in every loop. Every time there's an interaction, unless you surprise it.
Yeah.
By accident. So what happened was the guy kills it. He goes home. He's like about 400 miles from the site, freaked out, whatever. Thinks he's safe. Dogman's discovered it. Discovered who it was. They knew where he was. They trailed him back down to where he lived, and they attacked him in his home.
Wow.
And he did live to fight another day, but that's how the story was revealed. So I think there's a hive mind there. I don't know how they do it or why, but I think they.
Well, it's like you take out one of ours, we're going to come after you, you know?
Well, yeah.
Eye for an eye kind of mentality.
Yeah, it's eye for an eye, but it's also like, it's like you go right now and you go into your house someplace. I know exactly what you're doing because I'm experiencing exactly what you're experiencing, but you're also experiencing me from this. Everybody has all the information and experience from everybody in the pack. And I think there's multiple packs throughout, the world.
Guaranteed. Yeah.
Yeah. And then when we get back to the super soldier again, I think this thing just breaks away. It's like, I don't need you anymore, whatever.
Kind of like wolves, how they branch out and start their own packs, right?
It's funny. Like everybody says, well, what's the range of dogmen? Did you know that a coy wolf, right? If you have a coy wolf or wolves in general, their hunting radius is about 150 miles.
Oh shoot! Okay.
Yeah. So it's a 150-mile radius, and that's a wolf that can probably standing up be close to 7 feet long. Coy wolves. It's like the biggest.
Yeah, the ones with the long, lanky legs, and I've seen those. Weird looking.
There's a great video of someone driving through snow, and I don't know where the hell it was. I think it was a national park, and one of these big wolves comes up off the side and kind of slowly walks by. So if you have a wolf that has a 150-mile radius, what do you think a 12-foot werewolf has? What radius?
300. I would just double it, right?
At least double, if not triple that.
Wow. And I didn't even think about that. I've heard the theory that the dogmen have a 70-mile from multiple, like 3 or 4 different reports I've heard that they have the 70-mile radius for hunting. But if you said if a regular wolf has a 100, 150, I mean, yeah, you'd not have to triple.
I would at least double the 150. And it's known, wolves will hunt a 150-mile radius.
150, okay.
Right.
So I had some technical difficulty.
I don't know if it's me or not. Sure.
Can you hear me?
Country boy, I would highly recommend you not shoot a dogman. That's just my 2 cents. First of all, when you shoot, and you'll see some shooting targets over my shoulder right there. Most people group and it's center mass. Okay, but here's the problem with these dogmen, and this is from reports. Their chest, if you see how these dogmen are built and structured, it's a lot of bone, and their chests barrel out. It's like a moose. I know somebody hunted moose. So that's layers and layers of skin, and after a while, layers and layers of skin get thick. And guess what happens when you hunt moose and you shoot it straight on in the chest? You actually have to shoot it on the side under the armpit for the most part, because the front becomes like a bulletproof vest. So all you're going to do with your weapon is piss it the fuck off. And then you're going to have a real problem. And there's tons of stories where the dogmen say, don't do it. Because if I'm facing you and you're the dogman, I know there's another one trying to get to my 6. They do not hunt alone. So if you kill me, something's going to come from behind you. So there's a guy, great investigator. His name's Butch Witowski. Unfortunately, passed away last February. Good friend of mine.
Oh, sorry to hear about that, man.
We lost a lot of good people recently. Butch was on a case over in PA, and it was a dogman case. So he went to this town. I forgot where it was in the town, but he had a chance to talk to somebody who was local, and it was native. And they said, he asked, "Can you talk to the elders? Because I want to know a little bit more about what's going on here." Bipedal canine, upright canines, he called them, dogmen, whatever. So the elders, the guy says, "I'll call the elders, come back in a couple of days." Butch comes back like a week later to go on the investigation. The elders responded to this guy, told him, "Do not bring your firearm at all. They will not respond to it. You need to bring a long weapon, a long knife." What they're saying to you is this: the bullets going in, 30-06 and 308s, it's pretty good going in, and you may think it's going to expand. You're going to piss this thing off, and maybe eventually you will kill it. But the way the dogman, it just pisses them off. But if you take out a machete and you slice it once, it's going to slice in half in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah, guaranteed. I mean, other than shooting it, and
Right.
you don't. From what I hear is when they say if you have to defend yourself, if you shoot at a dogman, the chest cavity is just so packed. It's like armor plating that you want to hit the vital organs like the eyes, the brain, shoot for the face,
the mouth,
nose,
the eyes, and if you can get under the armpit, that's a good spot.
Oh,
Funny,
okay.
when Butch used to go out, what they would bring with them, this is genius. They bring with them a zoological-based pellet gun, which is basically a really fancy way of saying a paintball gun, a higher-end paintball gun. But I think it was a 65 caliber. But what they would do is they would use talcum-based balls and pepper balls. They would, so this way it would just annoy the shit out of them. So if they were doing anything, and when you shoot a talcum or pepper-based ball, and it hits, it does a like a cloud of pepper. It doesn't matter how big your damn ass is. You get like some serious pepper in your eyes, crying like a baby. But what that's doing is it's giving them enough time to get the hell out of there.
Yeah, like a defense mechanism almost, right? Like how squids and octopi squirt, the black solution.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking at some of the comments. I have my tablet down there.
No, you're good. I'm reading them too. Yeah. We'll have to definitely get you and Al on a show like Miriam said. You guys unfiltered would be awesome. Cryptid comedy right there.
Yeah, we're pretty good at that. But
special shout out to my mom. She just jumped in. Hey, Mom.
You did a good job, Mom.
Thank you.
Yep. I have to say that I'm a dad now. So.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, well, no, I've been a dad for a while, but
Well, I know you got a couple kids. I know.
Yeah, I just posted joking around my 15-year-old. She got asked out by this nice kid, and then a week later, which is just a couple days ago, she had her first kiss.
Oh.
So, and my wife and I are on, it's circle of life, Akuma Matata, right?
It is, yeah.
So I just posted, all that, and I said, now, do you take the lye and put it in the plastic bag when you're rolling the body, or you just sprinkle it?
Hey, you got to be that dad. You were the alpha of your family, so you got to put the fear of God in that poor boy.
Well, I don't want to scare him off. She doesn't get any dates or anything, but it's if you think Dogman's messed up, what do you me?
You haven't met Bryan Bowden yet.
Right, you haven't met me yet. But this is why, speaking of, just going back to your North American Dogman Project.
Yeah.
Still very, very good friends with Jody, and respect them. I respect Dave Jones. There's a bunch of people there.
Yeah.
That there was an issue, and because of that, I pulled back from it, because if it's not going to be resolved, I can't. Part of going out in an investigation in anything paranormal or anything, you have to have a trust factor there. And if there's one person that you're a suspect of, I can't, it's a safety concern, especially with these cryptids.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But, what I love about Jody, and when Dave started this thing, they do think outside the box. I mean, I don't know if Jody's really, has firearms with him. I'm sure, people do have them. But I love the I call them the stun grenades that they use,
Mm-hmm.
the blinding lights or the pepper grenades or certain things that will, yeah, it's going to piss these damn things off, but all you got to do is the right thing. You're not really hurting it. You're pissing it off, but you're giving yourself time to get away.
Exactly.
Too
Yeah.
many of these people, I see these stories all the time of people going in the woods, like, I'm going to go kill it. I'm like, oh, that's not a good idea, dude.
Definitely, and that's what the whole North American Dogman Project. Even Jody clearly states it's a no-kill organization. Other than if you have to defend yourself, if it's life or death, then yeah, it's fair game. Fire away.
Yeah, I mean, and we were talking earlier about, some people being like, oh, I had it as a pet and whatever. I'm like, I don't know
Yeah.
about that. There was something that took place recently and whatever, and again, I don't want to revisit, but I'm going to explain to you why I'm saying what I'm saying.
Mm.
But Al is really, I just have so much time a day. I can't, being his kids are older. I don't have the time to listen to every freaking podcast or video or whatever, but I know Al has listened to every show of Vix, and Vix is the grandfather of this.
Oh, I know. 420, what, 9, I think
Yeah.
we're at now?
Yeah. I mean, all Vic Cundiff stuff. He's, every video, every audio tape, whatever. And the only person that ever publicly stated, which I have, and I'm kind of proud of it because Steve Stockton, who's another writer or whatever, he he goes, I use that story all the time. Like, Steve, use it whatever you want, but this is what happened.
Yeah.
We did the investigation at the Letchworth Village.
Mm-hmm.
We came back and we were done. It was like time to go. And where he parked the car the next time around, he had a Jeep Liberty. It was a little bit up the hill from where the entrance was to the cemetery, and it had a light, one of those old camping style lights with an incandescent bulb, and it looked like there was a pathway.
Mm-hmm.
And as we're walking, we're seeing some eye shine. So it could be deer, a lot more deer. I've seen deer in there. And I'm like, no, this isn't deer. It's just sitting there. Now, I'm on the passenger side of this vehicle as we get there. And on the passenger side of the vehicle, I'm pretty much on a 3-foot grade from where this thing is sitting. Mm-hmm. And it looks like, I got to be honest, it looks like a Dogman. But I'm seeing shadow. It looks like a giant, wolf dog. Like a giant shepherd.
You see the big ears and everything?
Right.
Oh.
And I'm no more than 15 feet from this, but I gotta pee because part of the expression, I'm not peeing in the cemetery. It's out of respect for the dead.
Oh, of course.
So Al's packing the car and we're looking at this thing and it's just sitting there on its haunches. Now, again, no more than 15 feet from me. Al's like, hurry up. And I put my bag in the car. I have a machete here, and one here.
Okay? Yeah, I was going to say, you're packed.
I always take them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm urinating in front of this, and I was born and raised into dogs and dog shows. I know everything you know about a canine and how they act and what is an alpha versus a non-alpha, aggressive moves and how to, whatever. So I'm saying this to myself, like, I'm peeing in front of this thing. Now, again, where its snout meets up, if you were to got a side profile picture of me and then the Dogman. Mm-hmm. Okay, my head's here, right there. The Dogman's snout is about right there. Okay. I'm 6'1". I'm on a 3-foot grade. That makes me 9 feet 1 inches tall. Mm-hmm. This thing sitting on its haunch was about 8 feet tall.
Oh, wow.
It was a massive dog, and I've seen massive dogs. I've seen something burgers, one of the biggest dogs. You name it. Irish Wolfhounds. They're pretty big sitting down.
Yeah, I was gonna say Irish Wolfhounds get huge on 2 legs.
This made that thing look like a puppy.
Wow.
But I wasn't thinking of it, and I'm sitting there and peeing, and Al's screaming at me, "Let's go, Bryan. We gotta go. Get in the car." I'm like, dude, I gotta pee. Come on, hurry up, And I'm going. And then all of a sudden, it's just sitting there staring at us. You can see the little bit of the eye shine. it's just enough light where you can see the outline of the shape, but you can't make out the full details. And I'm getting the eye shine from the eyes and sitting there, and all of a sudden it lowers itself. Like one fluid motion, it's going down.
Like a quadruped status?
It's just, I don't know how it's doing it, but it's kind of just like you ever see the someone who does the fake escalator thing where they pretend they're walking up?
Oh yeah, okay.
This thing just kind of goes and it lowers, like gets down on its like almost belly. It disappears there, and the minute it lowers, I get the goose pimples on my arm. Now, when I get goose pimples in my arm in any investigation, the shit's going down. Something's happening. Be a ghost, be a Bigfoot. That's a telltale for me. It's actually a telltale for a lot of people.
Like a sixth sense, would you say? Almost like
100%.
Yeah.
Al's like, I'm fucking leaving you here. The hell? I'm like, you're not gonna leave me here.
Yeah.
But once that happened, goes, dude. I said, dude, we gotta go. And I hopped in. He peeled out like he was freaking, Richard Petty, and or NASCAR, and all I kept doing was looking in the review. I'm like, go, just go. We both felt it. Nothing came out, surprisingly.
It didn't chase after you guys, right?
Didn't chase after me, but
wow.
I've always, looking back on that, he goes, don't you ever do that. I'm like, dude, I gotta pee. I'm gonna pee.
Yeah, I'm not gonna pee in your car.
Yeah. I'm gonna pee. I'm gonna pee. Right.
Yeah.
So he's like, don't you ever do that again. And I'm like, whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So Al always said we had an issue where someone else was talking about urine, and that's what was a couple of months ago or a month ago. I don't look. I'm a pretty good guy. I don't have any problems with people. You want to tell stories, tell stories. I think a lot of the crap going on now, there's bigger and better BS going around, and a lot of it's BS. I would never have it on my show personally. There's a lot of pareidolia.
Yes.
People like, there's like 6 dogmen in that tree. Tree can't support 6 dogmen.
No, just because of the physical size of these things being
right. And then when someone asks you for your opinion, they don't really want your opinion. They want you to agree with whatever they, because I've given opinions and like, oh, you're crazy. I'm like, well, you're asking me my opinion. You're asking me pareidolia. I'm not saying that people don't believe they had an experience they had, but it just doesn't make sense. And given the size and the mass that I saw a picture. Someone forwarded me a picture recently, and they went out for a walk, and of course they took pictures, and it's the same type of like someone playing around with the contrast or whatever, and things pop out, and it's called pareidolia. It looks like a monkey, or it looks like a dog, or it looks like a gremlin, or whatever. This is why we say, hey, look, that looks like a frog smoking a cigarette in the sky. Pareidolia. Okay?
Yes.
And there was one image, and I kid you not, there was 9. The person said there was 9 dogmen there in the tree.
Oh, wow. I mean, it could be juvenile, maybe, you think? Or, I don't know.
Give me a break. 9?
Yeah.
Honestly, even if it was juvenile, max, you could, you're talking about a juvenile, they don't stay small too long, and it was big. Their heads were bigger than,
they go
no freaking
tremendously
way.
Fast,
right.
Yeah.
So, like, the sheer fact that you can't put 4 fat ladies into a Volkswagen Rabbit. You just can't do it.
No, I agree. That's why I've kind of moved on myself, brother. Like, I became a firm believer. I learned the pictures with the circles and the pareidolia, but it's like it got to a point where it's like, okay, I'm seeing these things, but I'm not seeing it with my own 2 eyes, but I'm seeing it through a phone or a picture. But then it's like I just graduated onto it. I'm like, okay, I want to see evidence. I want to see actual stuff. That's why I stopped doing that.
I want really clear pictures, more definition. You don't have to play with the contrast or color or whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when people send me images, if I've always get images, and the first thing I do is I try to take out certain colors. Why? Because if you get shadow play and you start playing with color channels, it does actually help to give you the defined shape of something.
Oh, of course, yeah.
99% of this stuff is not real. Now,
Oh,
that doesn't discredit that someone felt something or something happened to somebody there. It doesn't.
it doesn't. Yeah.
I wasn't there, but I'm telling you, from what you're sending me,
This
it
is
looks
what
like
you see.
pareidolia. Yeah, I don't see it.
Yeah.
So,
And it's different if you're just going out into the tree line or your backyard and just taking pictures and saying, hey, I see 5 dogmen here. And it's like, well, did you really see it? But now if you had your encounter and that was the one picture you took before you had the chance to get out of there, well, I'm going to believe yours. I want to hear the encounter story. But if you're just going out into the trees and taking pictures, I don't want to, like I say, discredit that because that's what made me a believer into the whole dogman phenomenon. But I just don't do that type of research anymore. I'm on, hey, let's go see where the claw marks are on the tree. Where's, the attack happened or whatever. I want to see evidence.
So yeah, and that's the point. Remember what I told you when I'm at the cemetery investigation that later on I'm urinating in front of this. I wasn't in dogman mode. See, if you're telling me we're doing a ghost hunting investigation, I try to get focused on ghost hunting and what I know to be expected.
What to expect, yeah.
Right. If I'm Bigfoot, I'm kind of expect certain things, so I'm focusing on that. And sometimes you're so over focused in things that things that are evidence, you're not connecting the dots because you're trying to be in one area. So one of the things we found, Al was adamant, like, I'm getting this dogman feel, and I'm like, I hear dogs, Al, but I don't get dogman feel.
You're just not thinking dogman, right?
Right. Al was like, I don't know, I'm being drawn to this. And I'm like, okay, Al, I always, I trust his intuitions on certain things, and he trusts me. And we find this other path. We start walking down this path. Okay? Now, so I'm just trying to explain to you. The one path you walk to get in and out of the cemetery is probably no bigger than, you could probably fit a truck through. You have to drive like a utility truck for like the utility guys to work on the power lines. But off that trail closer to the road is another little path. So we follow the little path, and the little path goes out, and as soon as we get around this one bend, dude, you can't miss it. It's as if someone took trees. I mean, I'm talking 3 foot in diameter minimum, pulled them out of the ground. So you get the roots going. The root is like this, flipped it upside down, and then they have other trees connected to it like an umbrella.
Oh, shoot.
That
Okay.
is a Class A. Al has the photos, and we put them up. That is your Class A dogman tree structure. That is dogman's way of saying, yo, we're here, motherfuckers.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's the first time I've heard of that with them. I know the upside down trees, I know out here in California, I've talked to, Javi's told me a few things, but I think it's more that out here it's the Sasquatch that do that as a sign. I've heard different theories and different encounters where they say that they use the upside down trees to mark the graves of their dead.
I don't know about that, but
but out there in New York, you guys, that's the dogman saying this is our...
When we get into a Bigfoot structure, it's like X's, it's stars, it's really weird. It's nothing major like that. I mean, they'll be uprighted. So if they pull a tree out, they'll pull it up, and then it'll still look like a tree.
Oh, okay.
Like a forest. This is like literally, take a freaking tree, pull it out of the ground, take all the dirt off it, and hang it upside down. And you see the roots. It's so like you can't miss it.
Yeah.
And then you have other trees connecting, and it's suspended. We're walking underneath this thing. How the hell did they did it? And someone said, "Oh, maybe the guys in the power company did it." And I'm like, dude, they're union. They ain't doing work unless they have to.
Yeah, exactly. They're union.
Yeah, they're not going to be doing that. Not even as a goof.
Yeah.
So I kept walking past the structure, and after a while, Al goes, "Bryan, stop." And I stopped. I'm like, "What's up?" Because we're investigating at this point, dogman now. He goes, "Nope, I feel like we're being lured in there."
Oh.
And because sometimes we both get that feeling, and we're on like, you got it, I got it. We know. Sometimes one of us will get it, and the other one, even if they're not getting it, they'll heed that. Like, we're going to be lured. There's a vibe you get.
And that's why you guys work so well together. being partners.
Well, we try. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's nice meeting people that one have your interests, um, and I like what he does and where he's coming from, his perspective. I think inside and outside the box,
Yeah.
and it kind of complements. Like, he'll have an experience, he'll discuss with me. I said, well, dude, you got to go back out there. He does the same thing. Like, I'll do something. I use I've can't come up with a protocol without, but I've come up. It's called an AIE. This is for any type. If you want to go out and Shane, I'd ask you to use it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So basically, what you do is before you go on an investigation, be it a ghost hunting investigation, Bigfoot, cryptid, whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to stop when you get there. I want you guys to stop, just breathe, and say in your minds, like meditate for a minute. Say, look, we're not here to hurt you. We don't want to be hurt ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We want some kind of interaction with you. And you project that out there and say, can you just give us a sign that you're here, interact with us, and we're not going to do anything to put any harm in your way. And that's why it's an active, intelligent encounter. You're using your consciousness to connect to the ether. I call it, call whatever you want. We call it the Goblin Universe on one of my shows, with Ron Murphy. But it's like there's a collective consciousness that these all things kind of exist in, and they're aware of. There's too many people have had mind speak from dogmen that have talked to them in their heads. Don't do it.
Don't shoot. I've heard that one.
Don't shoot. Don't pull that trigger. Mm-hmm. And Bigfoot has done it too. Like, they've had interaction with Bigfoot, aliens all the time. Sometimes ghosts come to you. I mean, it's kind of hard. I do what they call remote viewing. Okay. I do it very, very well. And so our psychic Cindy says, "Oh no, you're psychic like me," and I'm like, "No, I'm not psychic. I'm a remote viewer." Maybe remote viewer. I've had other people that are psychics tell me, "No, you're psychic." So I don't want to, but when you start doing things and everybody can do it, you can use your third eye. You kind of unlock it. And actually, next week I'm going to be doing a demo of remote viewing where anybody can participate in the Three Beards.
Oh, really? So, okay.
Yeah.
What time and what date so I can share that?
They're always Wednesday at 8.
Wednesday at 8,
You're on West Coast, so 8.
5 o'clock.
So,
okay.
Right. So what I'm going to do is, because I'm going to explain about remote viewing, how it works, and what things you need. All people have to do is bring a pen and a pencil and a piece of paper, and I'm going to pick targets. And I think I'm going to pick just 3 targets. I may pick 5, but, just have 5 targets ready. And then you're going to use your mind to flush out all the crap. And we want everybody, even the audience, we want you to kind of focus on what's in the envelope. And it could be anything. It could be a letter. It could be a word. It could be a location. It could be a building, a picture, whatever it is. Whatever I decide to pick. Mm-hmm. And we're going to have you start using your mind, take a piece of paper and start using it to kind of use it as a note on what you think that is. Now, a lot of people, so if you want to try it, I do. But I do it, I don't do it protocol way. There's an official protocol way with steps.
Now, is there different ways of how to do remote viewing? Because I know Jessica Jones does remote viewing.
She uses protocols.
Protocols, okay.
There's certain steps. Now, Joseph Monagle, he created these steps. He has an academy in Virginia. You can go and study, become a remote viewer. Anybody can do it. It's just figuring out a way to tap into the, I call it the Akash record or the ether or the consciousness. Okay. I just do it my way. It's worked perfectly. So maybe there's a little psychic to it. Maybe it's not. But I can travel to wherever you want. I've used it to help people. I always question what I do. And the first person I go to is Al. And I'm like, dude, this is what happened. I don't want him to think I'm crazy. He goes, no, just tell him. Mm-hmm. And I've gotten reports back from people. People have said, and spot on. So I have about a 98% accuracy rate.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. it's actually very interesting. I still question how I do it, but once you start doing things like this, other things start happening. So you enhance ability. It's like lifting weights. So you start with 5 pounds, right? And maybe you go up to 10, whatever. After a while, you're going to need more than 5 pounds. So you lift some more, and that muscle is going to get another muscle. So all these are muscles, and the more you do it, the easier it becomes. So we use something, the active intelligent encounter, to get your consciousness, your mind, before an investigation, going out there saying, look, we're not here to hurt you, and we don't want anybody to hurt us. We just want to have an interaction. We have questions. Can you give it to us? And I guarantee you, when you start doing this when you go out with whom you're going out with, and this is for anybody in the chat that wants to go out and do it, you're going to have a better experience. You're going to be able to call these creatures into you. You're going to be able to have an interaction with these creatures that isn't threatening. I don't think the dogmen are purposely going out there and it's going to be like, yo, let's rip them apart.
Yeah, no.
Come in a different way saying, look, I know what you're capable of. I don't want to have any problems or issues. I'm here. I just want an interaction. Something that's, don't scare me. Don't whatever. I mean, no harm. I think there's ways that you could have probably a docile interaction. That's with the active intelligent encounter.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, brother, with that. I just wanted to give a special shout out to Jesse and Joe over at Hellbent Holler. Brother, I have one last question I wanted to ask. I know we're at the 2-hour mark, and I know you're it's late on your side, and I know I got to get up early for work myself. But I wanted to ask you, what are you guys going to be remote viewing next Wednesday on Three Beards Podcast?
So, say that again. What about?
What are you guys going to be remote viewing on the Three Beards Podcast next Wednesday?
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be the source of the remote. I'm going to be the source of the target.
Okay.
Nobody's going to know the target but me. Actually, what I may do is I may ask my other half or my kids, I want you to go through something. I want you to pick the target. I want you to fold it up, put it in an envelope, and then and write the number, like whatever, target 1.
Okay.
And have them do it. Now, I have done quick remote views, but because I'm helping somebody to learn it, I'm going to have them do it. Mm-hmm. And you'll be very surprised that when you see something, one person will touch on certain things, other person will catch other certain aspects. Some people will be spot on.
Oh.
And you may think it's, and they may not say like, oh, it's a purple bird with pink eyes. They may not be, but they may get the shape. They may get the flying, and this is the start of remote viewing. So hopefully when I have the 4 to 5 targets, we'll go through that. And I say you can practice this with your kids as well.
Okay.
And it's just a technique, and you'll see how good you do, and you'll be surprised. So that's what we're going to be remote viewing.
I'm super stoked to see that. I really am. So everyone, you guys want to catch Bryan on his next podcast? He's going to be joining the Three Beards podcast with Craig, Chris, and I forget the other gentleman's name who's normally on there. But Austin. Okay, I didn't see him on the last one, so I was like, oh shoot.
Well, he's a fireman, so he's probably off doing his hurricane.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
But Florida. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're all great guys, and if you guys want to catch them, that's going to be 5:00 Western or Pacific time next Wednesday, 8:00 Eastern. So,
right.
But brother, I know it's getting late for you, and I appreciate you, and I'm so honored that you came on.
Get Al back on.
Well, I want to get you both back on. How about we do a like almost a cryptid comedy? Let's just get you both on, and we can just talk cryptids and paranormal.
I'm down for that. Whatever it is, because there's a lot to talk about. But thank you very much for having you on your show.
Yeah, brother, I was truly honored, and I appreciate you coming on, and I look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Same here, and I'm going to be starting my podcast, and maybe I'm going to throw your button fire over here.
Yeah.
To talk about why you got involved in this too, which would be an honor as well.
Yeah.
But yeah. One day, hopefully, we'll get to a conference, and although I'm no longer with North American Dogman Project as a director for New York State, it doesn't mean that I'm not. I'm a very open researcher and investigator. So whatever evidence I have, I share it.
And we're all in the cryptid community, but we're all, to
Yeah.
me, I just think try to unite us all together and just try to expand
I'm with you.
awareness. So
That's great.
yeah. Well, brother, you have a good evening, and thanks again so much, and we'll look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Cool.
All right, thanks, brother. Thanks, you guys. You all have a great evening. Thank you guys so much. That was an awesome show by Bryan Bowden. Everyone that showed up in the comments, I appreciate the support and the love. And we're going to have another guest on in the next 2 weeks. Lee Bucher from the main chapter of the North American Dogman Project is going to talk about his terrifying dogman encounter in the mid-90s. So if you guys want to join us, I still don't have everything written down or planned because my work schedule and his. But that's going to be the next one. And then after that, I'm going to start the North American Dogman Project series where I'm going to interview Jody Cook, Nick Valente, D.A. Roberts, and Art VRs, and other field investigators and what they've seen. So that's going to be pretty intriguing. That's what we've got on the schedule. So thanks again for joining us again here at the West Coast Dogman Project. I hope you all have a great evening. Thanks again.